Ripples on Deep Water, by Orphan Account, on EU3. Episode 14, Chapter 14, Houdini. Groups of 4. Izuku and Mei automatically grabbed each other's arms, plan already scrambling to form. The rest of 1F glanced their way, giving small waves, but broke off to their own groups. Pearl and a girl identical to her, with Ban and a boy with weird eyelashes from 1B. Fen is recruited by this annoying blonde boy and vine girl from both 1B, and a birdhead dude from 1A. Izuku's pretty sure his name is Tokoyami. Well, there goes all his friends. Sup? The welcoming sight of his tall, purple friend sends relief coursing through Izuku's veins. He had to crane his neck a bit to look Hitoshi in the eye as he got up close, but it was worth it. His intimidational tactic worked. Hitoshi looked vaguely uncomfortable. Join our team, he commanded. Hitoshi nodded so fast, Izuku actually stops to wonder if he was the one with the brainwashing quirk, but brushes it off. Hitoshi's just weird. There was an awkward pause as they waited for Mei to reappear, and Izuku stood patiently in front of Hitoshi. If you'd ever seen a picture of a rather frightened black cat sitting in front of a mildly disturbed panther, that was an accurate comparison. Mei finally reappeared, a girl with a brown bob in tow. She looked pretty proud of herself, too. This is Ochako Uraraka from 1A, she announced. She's got a zero-gravity quirk that totally fixes our weight problem. Izuku nodded, looking at their small group. I'll be the rider. I can balance easily, and I'm a smaller target than anyone else here. Uraraka-chan, if I'm correct, you can't levitate yourself without negative effects, so you're front horse to keep the balance. Hitoshi, take my rocket boots and be on the left flank. Brainwash anyone you can to try to keep them or others away. Mei, left flank. Throw pink bombs, electrocute people, go nuts. They all nodded. The teams looked tensely at each other, all branding to run. And start! Izuku would be lying through his teeth if he said he'd face the oncoming flood of teenagers running at Mei, Hitoshi, Uraraka, and himself. Nope, he screamed like one of those white girls in horror movies that die first. Mei laughed like a madwoman as Uraraka brushed her hands over the three before Hitoshi and Mei activated their boots, and they shot up into the air in a near miss with the mob. What? It seems that Team Midoriya is airborne. No, really? A whip of something came from the elbows of a guy on Todoroki's team. Mei laughed harder, her lightning rod activating and swinging out to catch it in an instant. The electricity ran through the weird stuff, which quickly retreated as Elbow Boy shrieked. Vine Girl attempted to do the same, ending up with a pink blob sticking at her hair together. Boom. Pop, 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 pop. Izuku froze as they heard the all-too-familiar sound, muscles bracing to flee or take a hit. Katsuki was flying at him, face contorted in rage, as he extended a hand for Izuku. And a drone smashed into his front, a claw extending to rip the headband off of Katsuki's face. Katsuki was just barely caught by his team as he turned his attention to the offender. The Reiki twins and their team. Izuku wouldn't thank Pearl if he wasn't so damn terrified for her. Minutes ticked by as Izuku and his team flew back and forth across the stadium, watching Monoma and Flane's team racked up points with ambushes, and Todoroki's team accelerate everyone that stepped in their way. Reika, Ara, Pearl's twin, now had a grand total of 0 bands on her forehead. But she and her team still ran after Katsuki, thwarting him every chance they had. This event was really, really boring, if you could fly. More and more broke off into their chase after Izuku, and it became a free-for-all that he and his team observed quietly, occasionally throwing in a comment to each other to change positions. 1 minute left. We should head back down at 30, Izuku said decisively. Uraraka gives him a weird look, but restores gravity to the team as they descended, straight into the waiting grasp of Todoroki's team. Todoroki reached out with his hand, always his right, so Izuku does what Izuku does best. Make everything far more difficult than it has to be. His lightning rod is out in a blink of an eye, tip jabbing into Todoroki's left shoulder. Todoroki spasm, a ripple of fire across his arm that flanked out and drove Izuku back, his team fleeting unscathed again. Then, Izuku noticed something. Ida's exhaustion pipes are glowing. Reciprocal! Ida explodes forward, and Izuku drops sideways to avoid his reaching hand, and falls directly into Hitoshi's extended arms. There was a beat of pure silence as the timer ran down, all knowing it was futile to try and get Izuku's headband, and Izuku himself internally flipping his shit out because what the fuck? His friend is carrying him bridal style, and Mei Mei is laughing her ass off, and he knows people in the audience are too, and holy mother of fuck, this is embarrassing. And Team Midoriya comes in first with 10,845 points. Following behind is Team Bakugou with 960 points, Team Todoroki with 990 points, and Team Monoma with 615 points. Uraraka and Mei Mei break away from Izuku and Hitoshi, the traitors, and laugh at his expense as Hitoshi, dear, sweet Hitoshi, has gone a shade of red Izuku doesn't know was possible for anyone but himself, and was intimately aware of his own face was a similar color. He managed. This is a thing that happened. Hitoshi nodded back, his face the picture of awkwardness as he attempted to set Izuku down, without just dropping him, which was a whole-ass process, but one Izuku appreciated nonetheless. Mei Mei was laughing, her arms on Uraraka's shoulder, the entire damn time. When Izuku regained his footing, he tried his damnedest to ignore the crowding of his best friend as Yamada-sensei talked about the break. They headed dazedly to the break area, Izuku dazedly holding Mei Mei's sleeve and letting her guide him as he tried to process that he'd just won 2 events. Midoriya, is it? Izuku blinked out of his reverie, looking at the new voice. Todoroki stood there, his face as cold and hostile as it always was when Izuku saw him. May I speak with you? Katsuki was hunting that piece of shit. Showed him up, humiliated him. And not 1, but 2 events. Events that he had almost won. So when Half and Half took Deku away from his snarling covet of freaks, he saw it as a chance. Wait for Deku to be alone, teach the quirkless fuckwad a lesson, then win the sports festival. He followed them to a tunnel and pressed himself against the wall to listen. Midoriya, you made me break a promise. There was a pause before Deku interrupted it. So what? Katsuki would be surprised if he didn't already know the asswipe had changed in the past year. The old Deku would have fluttered his hands with a string of apologies and tears in his eyes. But Katsuki didn't know this new Deku, and he hated how he couldn't predict the damn thing he did. So, Half and Half continued tightly. I want you to understand what you've done. Shoot. Have you ever heard of quirk marriages? If Katsuki cared about Half and Half in the least, he'd probably feel guilty about spying. But he doesn't, and he didn't, as the ice-hot bastard told his sob story. And that's why I have to beat you, without my father's power. There was a long, tense silence. Then, clap, clap, clap. Was Deku slow clapping? Well, great, as horrible as your life is. I also don't know who you are, Todoroki-kun. A heat endeavor, don't get me wrong, but you clearly don't want me to do anything about it. So, do you expect me to feel bad about doing my best? That's not what I was. Then what is it, Todoroki-kun? Deku snapped. Is it how you are blessed with not 1, but 2 incredible, versatile, powerful quirks, and you're not using 1 out of spite? And you being a pretentious dick to me because I accidentally made you use it by defending myself? Is it that you don't consider me worthy of using your quirk against? You can't even begin to understand. Listen, To me, Todoroki-kun, I've fucking been there. People I loved turned on me because of a quirk. People beating the shit out of me daily. I fucking get it. It hurts like hell. But one day, when you're a hero, yes, when, your ice isn't going to be enough. What will you tell the mother of the child you could have saved, but didn't because of a grudge? What will you say to the world? That you half-ass everything? Literally? Because you wanted to be petty? Think about that, Todoroki, before you come bitching to me about how much your life sucks and how I'm the one who ruined everything. There was a long, long silence. I'm sorry. That was harsh of me. But someone needed to get that through your thick skull. I'm not sure what you really expected, though. I can't help you unless you let me. Another pause. No, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have pinned it all on you. At least let me walk you back to your friends. Okay. Damn it! Katsuki wanted to punch something, but instead he just fisted the fabric of his gym kit, waiting for the icy bastard to just leave. Patience, he told himself. I'll get my chance. Okay. Alright. Okay. I see you. Chapter 15 is Whatever It Takes. Summary, first round of 1v1s. I'm scared that his chance is gonna be when Izuku and him have to fight. Please no. Please no. No. Just no. No. Also, author's note, I really hated how Todoroki handled the conversation in canon. He just expected Izuku to apologize for something that wasn't his fault and dumped all his childhood trauma on his shoes, even though they'd never spoken before. Before Todoroki challenged him. I wish someone did something about that, or Izuku would tell him how shitty that was. Yeah. I kind of agree with that. Kind of, now that I think about it, that's a perspective that I never thought about. And I really like reading fan fictions because it opens you up to perspectives of things that you never really thought about. Like, for example, something that I've been thinking about a lot is how My Hero Academia would change significantly if Izuku wasn't in My Hero. Like, let's say he was quirkless and he stayed quirkless, right? Like, let's say he got picked up by All Might, that whole thing happened, but, Izuku went to go save Katsuki, and All Might still didn't give him his quirk, right? There's two versions. There's, like, Izuku does that, like, saves Katsuki from the sludge villain, and Izuku still doesn't get the quirk, or Izuku just doesn't do that. He's so absolutely upset that he doesn't do that, right? Or he just doesn't see it. Right? And one of the biggest things that I see is some people think Katsuki could have died. And a lot of people genuinely believe that Katsuki would have died that day had Izuku not stepped up and helped him. Which again fuels a lot of, I like a lot of people talking about how the sludge incident is a very crucial part to BKDK. And I very much agree. Don't get me wrong, I love Shindeku, but BKDK, platonic or romantic, is very, very big, right? In this one, I think Katsuki's a little more aggressive than he is in the regular one, in the canon and stuff like that. But talking about canon Katsuki, I know something that I always say is if I were to rewrite My Hero Academia, one of the things that I would have done is, one, have a lot of visual representation and metaphors in the sense of have it rain when it's certain emotions need to be sparked. When it comes to the sense of Izuku and Katsuki, rain is a very significant moment for Izuku and Katsuki. It signifies a really big thing for both of them. Same with Aizawa and Preza Mike, considering the fact that it was raining when Oboro died. And I think something that would be very crucial is to have rain and sludge be a crucial content to both Bakugou and Izuku, right? Izuku, whenever he's feeling pressured, whenever he's feeling like he's not enough, whenever he's training and whatever, you could just see the goo start to consume him, right? Because it's a significant moment. I mean, it's when he got his literal, it's the reason he got his quirk. It's a lot of stuff, right? Anyways, enough about that. I kind of went on a tangent. but I see a lot of people mention how had Izuku not saved Katsuki, Katsuki could have died. That changes part of the story. Had Izuku not saved Katsuki, a lot of people think that Kirishima wouldn't have gotten out of his depression and wouldn't have became a hero, because I think there's a slight mention, I'm not sure if this is canon, about how Kirishima saw the fact that a quirkless kid tried to save someone, or saw that, and that's what inspired him to, you know, be better, because, you know, he's always grown up and seen Mina be, you know, more heroic than him, and then he thinks that he's not heroic enough, and that's when he sees literally someone who's quirkless do something heroic, making him, you know, start training, start getting ready, and start preparing for UA. I'm not 100% sure if that's canon though, but if it is, I think that would be really cool to see Kirishima doesn't go to UA or doesn't achieve his goal of UA because he didn't take it seriously, because he still didn't have that self-confidence, right? I think it would be cool to see the fact that I feel Ida wouldn't have survived this stain incident, or that I feel like probably there would have been actual casualties for the students during the USJ incident. Or there's a lot of stuff where you think about it where it's like, without Izuku, a lot of things would have gone wrong. And it's something that I always like to think about, right? Stuff like that. As I said, there's a lot of implications, and I really like fandom and fandom behavior because I like to talk with people and be able to have conversations like this of like, what would happen if Izuku, you know, this or that. I always love it. It's why For the Want of a Nail is one of my favorite series. I absolutely love Cloud's work. And For the Want of a Nail is really cool, and I really enjoy it, and I hope one day I could do something like that. I'm thinking of doing something similar to that. I think I'm gonna start with Fluffy Mind though. If I were to do something similar like that, I think I would definitely do it a little bit of a choose your own adventure, except the choices in between it wouldn't be every other chapter or stuff like that. I think it would be really far. Like you choose something in the beginning chapters, and depending on what you choose there is what happens, right? If you choose this, if you choose that, if you choose this, and in each one it's its own categories, right? And stuff like that. But I feel like there would be very little choices that you have to do. At least very little mundane choices that you have to do and stuff like that. And I think that would be really fun, but that would take a lot of my time to do. And it's something that I just think about every now and again. Anyways, that's enough of my rambling. As always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.